Howdy there, Chip Champ. Welcome back to One Great Manga War. Hopefully you are having a fantastic day today. And today, I will be showing you how to haggle. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So, what the heck is haggling? Haggling is taking a object that someone is selling and asking for a lower price and trying to get it as low as possible. This is usually done with places like flea markets or yard sales, pawn shops, smaller stores where you can talk to someone that's the owner and lower the price of it. This is a little bit of a gray area because if you do this, the buyer's usually not making as much money as they could be making. But as long as it's somewhere not like some big box retail like Walmart or like a hobby store that like specifically deals with that type of stuff, like Barnes and Noble or something, you should be fine. Pawn shops, even though you won't find manga there, but car dealerships, in yard sales and flea markets are meant to be haggled on, I feel like, where you get to see the price and you see the person and you're like, hey, would you take this price for it? But how do you do it? So I'm gonna give you an example real quick. This is a GTO volume 25. I believe it's going for like $75 online. That's the last time I checked. This is how much this volume was going for, but which is insane. But this is a $75 GTO volume. All right, and you want it. So let's say you want it for $50. Be reasonable. Be reasonable. Remember that they are also a person and they're trying to make money. So do not say $5 if it says $75. Don't do that to them. That's doing them a disservice and it looks incredibly rude on your part. But so let's say it's $75, right? And you want it for $50. Okay? You could simply just go up to them and say, hey, remember to be kind, but also confident. Be kind, confident, and if they say no, it's okay. So let's say you want it for $50. You could just go up to them and say, hey, would you be willing to go down to 50 on this volume? And they'll be like, well, no. 90% of the time they'll say no. So like, how about $60? And then you have to decide yourself if you want to do $60. But if you don't want $60, you're like, no, let's do 55. And then usually then they'll have to decide if they'll do 50 or 60 if they're solid on that. And if they're like, no, I'm still solid on 60, and you're like, and you feel like 60 is not good enough for you, you're like, okay, no worries, thank you for your time, have a great day, and you walk away. But wait, you were wanting $50. I mean, you were wanting it for $50, not 55. So then what do? So usually when you start haggling, you want to start at a lower number than what you actually want. So this is in the very lucky case. This is like rarely happens where you're like, hey, $40. Would you do it? And they're like, sure, we'll do $40. Then guess what? Boom shakalaka, you got it for $10 cheaper. Which, bravo, my friend, bravo. But you want to start a little bit lower than what you want, but not insultingly lower. So if you want this for $50, so let's say 40. We'll do $40. So like, okay, can I get this for 40? And he's like, no, I want to do 55. And you're like, how about 50? And you throw your hand out, and you want to like, where you're like almost there. He's like, come on, just shake my hand, and we got a deal, right? And if he shakes your hand, it's a deal. Guess what? Boom, you got your volume for a lot cheaper. Make sure to say, thank you, sir, I appreciate the discount. Make sure that you show appreciation for him doing something special and going out of his way for doing something for you. But that's, in general, you should always do that. But keep that in mind, that the person that you're haggling with is also a person. But what if they're like, oh, no haggle? Then you have a second option, and that is a bundle. Bundles is when you take a couple volumes. So let's say 5 volumes of GTO. Let's say someone's buying 5 volumes of GTO, and we'll say this pile's $150. This is a $150 pile of GTO, right? They're selling this for $50 each. These are all $50 each. And you're like, dang, that's a lot of money. I'm gonna see if I can get it for a lot cheaper. Wait, that's not $50 each. That's $30 each. So these are all $30 each. Let's say these are all $30 each. And altogether it's $150. You're like, dang, I don't want to spend that amount on manga. because I have other places I'm gonna go at the end of the week. So you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring this up to the front and see if they will be willing to go down lower. So for example, the place that I got my initial D volumes, usually they sell their manga for $6 each, and if they do a bundle, it's $2 off per volume, so it ends up being like $4 each. So you can take that into account here. So these volumes are, like I said, $30 each. If you take a third of it off, which would be $10, if you take $10 off each one, and you're like, hey, would you be willing to do $100 for all these? For me, I would consider that fairly fair, because you are getting 5 volumes for about $20, right? But they were asking $30 original. Now, if you went up to them and you're like $30, $20, they'd probably say no, because that's a lot of money. But you're buying a lot more volumes at a trying to get a discount price on it. So try that and see how it goes. And like I said, with haggling with just a single volume, remember to always be kind, compassionate, and know that there's someone else who's getting the money from you, and it's not just some rando. And just keep that in mind when you're haggling in general, is that that there's a person there and they're doing you a favor, and make sure to be very appreciative of that. And yeah, so that is how to haggle. This can be used on anything really. If you want a video game, comic books, board games, skateboards, plushes, action figures. If you're a lamp collector, why not? This can be really done with any hobby, honestly. If you go to a yard sale and you find a movie you want and it's $2 and you're like, that's expensive, ask for 50 cents, see if they'll take it, Never hurts to ask. As long as you're fine with sometimes getting your self-esteem hurt. But with all that said, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. And as always, go out there and read some manga, my friend.